I'm gonna ask you one last time. Are you sure you know where you're going?
Why does everyone keep asking me that?
Last time we ended up in a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
And we had a great time, right? No, that's true, but even so, this one seems a bit more off the beaten path than last time even. Oh, I don't know, maybe because we got in a literal spaceship, flew in outer space to another planet when I think we were supposed to just go get supplies one town over. I don't get where you're going with this. Trollo is still traumatized.
Wait, you don't use illusion.
I'm sure he's gonna be fine. And look, there's like an adorable little fuzzy bear over there. I mean, it's cute, but I'd be careful, man. That thing, he's got a sling. Oh, a sling. Oh no. What's he gonna do to me with this rope and rock when I'm wearing armor? What an idiot. Well, I guess I might as well change my attire, try to fit in. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerd and nerdettes. Now, in the amazing universe of Star Wars, what are you wearing? It's a little sci-fi. Besides, what happened to your armor? Oh, well, those adorable little murder bears looted off me. But back to the point, no, you don't look sci-fi. You look like a sad backup dancer, not like one who wanted it to be their career, one who tried to be in Hollywood but failed continuously, and now this is their last hope of any sort of success. Who hurt you? And besides, I make like 15 bucks a video. My budget is non-existent here at this point. Hey, all I know is you gotta spend money to spend money. You mean spend money to make money? You lost me. Let's try that again. In the amazing universe of Star Wars, or back that up. In what was the amazing universe of Star Wars? On that topic, I'll simply say, you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Therefore, I will say nothing at all. There's no shortage of amazing weapons, from lightsabers to double-bladed lightsabers to Force users who can basically consume an entire planet a la Darth Nihilus, or even ships that can blow up entire planets. There's always fun sci-fi things that kind of defy physics, that look great on screen and are super fun to watch. But in all that amazingness, there's one thing that people often forget, that it's the humble sling that helped save the universe. So in such an advanced sci-fi universe, it's hard to believe that a simple Stone Age society would be able to take down the Emperor's finest. He's a little lax in those terms, I feel like. But we're gonna break down Stormtrooper armor, what it's comprised of, what it's made of, variable weapons at the time, what was used by the Ewoks, how it would work against that, so testing it against similar analogous things in today's society and seeing how it works. So let's start with breaking down the Stormtrooper here. Stormtroopers were armored in plastoid, which was a composite material that was great for stopping blaster shots, not a direct shot, but it could help diffuse that. It was very useful in helping someone survive shrapnel and things of that nature. Underneath that was a body glove. That's where that gapping was. That's the black body glove. That was used to help diffuse the blaster shot or the energy round. So it would help to kind of dissipate that. So think of it as modern day hard armor, ceramics or steel, and underneath that you're gonna have your Kevlar, so that's your base layer. So they were covered in the body glove, and that helped them even survive in the vacuum of space. However, that was meant to dissolve energy blasts or high particle beams, which don't have a lot of mass. So that's why I'm thinking the Ewoks may have an edge, because you have a large rock moving quickly, you have armor that's meant to diffuse something that's high speed, low mass, that may cause a lot of concussive force in there. So I feel on the tail of tape there, the Ewoks might have a shot just for that alone. For their weapons, they used blasters. Like I said, they were high energy particle beam accelerators that would shoot out high energy beams. However, it's noted in canon and in lore in the EU, I don't know what's canon anymore, so to say, but they didn't do well in forest or jungle. And oftentimes when there was engagement in the jungle, they would use slug throwers. Now, slug throwers were low tech, basically rifles or weapons in the Star Wars universe. They were used by smugglers. Lando had one. Han had some hidden in the Millennium Falcon. Aaron Singh had them. So they were very commonplace. The Tusken Raiders even used them as well. Slug throwers actually performed very poorly against Stormtrooper armor. There was a couple engagements in the battle where some primitive people used slug throwers against the Stormtroopers, and it basically said they weren't able to penetrate the armor at all. Even something moving with high velocity that's got a little more mass than just like an energy beam, that armor was still able to dissipate it. So slug throwers are unable to punch through Stormtrooper armor. It didn't say what happened if it hit the gaps necessarily. The Tuskens would shoot like the eye plates and that would be enough to go into them. So the Tuskens actually used the Stormtroopers for target practice. They had slug throwers and they were able to punch through the eye plates of the Stormtroopers. They weren't able to get through the armor, but the material they had on the eye lens was not enough to stop a slug thrower. So what we have here is our Stormtrooper, who I don't know if you can tell, is praying for the sweet release of death. Now, what I have behind it is a 1/2 inch polycarbonate. If you're not familiar with polycarbonate, that's used for riot shields. Most of those are like 0.6 millimeters thick, so this is actually almost double the thickness of those. I've done it multiple times in multiple testings. It's performed extremely well. Here I have a Ballistic's Kevlar helmet. And what I want to try to do is just see the impact that it provides against that, and we can kind of ascertain how much a human may be able to tolerate with a rock moving that fast against something that's not going to go through the armor, but is going to stun someone. So what do we have here for impacts? Well, these here are all the impacts from it. So you can see there's divots in there. This was a clean shot right here as well, but obviously not enough to go through the shield. I've tested these before. That's a really thick polycarbonate, and then a few up top here as well that I hit. So that being said, I mean, if it gets anywhere other than the head, I don't think it's going to slow anyone down, especially with Ewoks. Being as small as they are, they're probably not going to be throwing really big rocks, I'd imagine. Like something around this size, most likely. Sure, you're dropping heavy rocks on them, that'll stun them, but I think you're going to need a headshot. All right, so that's enough on the shield. Now let's give that little noggin a tap. So for the headshot, I had one graze. I don't think I caught that one on camera. It kind of scuffed it along the side here as it went through. One was dead on, but even just looking at it and trying to watch back where it hit, I can't really see any good impact marks on this helmet. Maybe it was here, but again, with something like that, if it's futuristic technology, if it's obviously, it'd have to be lighter weight or less resilient than the Kevlar helmet, because even with that on, that'll knock you and rock you a little bit, but it's not enough to put you down. As long as you can stun them and maybe get some other little murder bears in there to finish the job, you'd be okay. But just straight taking down a stormtrooper fully armored with a sling, whew, as much as I love the sling, I think you're woefully outclassed. Quick sidebar, someone asked me what I think would happen if you had a rock and you pulled an Ewok and you wrapped it around your head and hit yourself. Well, I will simply say this. If you had a rock in it and it went around and the rock went around and hit you in the face, you'd probably be concussed, I think. It'd be a bad day. That would put you down for a bit. Well, folks, I think this is gonna be a pretty short video as the results are relatively conclusive, I would say. Anything that's more durable than polycarbonate or Kevlar is gonna give you a hard time with the sling or Stone Age weaponry. Stormtroopers had that, and I feel that it's a fun scene. I remember enjoying it as a kid, but nope. That's not feasible.